stakeholders, taxpayers, together with us in this journey. Your Excellency, I am used to collecting taxes, not to a lot of talking, so I will now take this opportunity to invite the Governor of Nairobi County, His Excellency Johnson Sakaja, to come and make a few remarks.
Your Excellency, I am used to talking and not collecting taxes. So I shall take over from the Commissioner General. Your Excellency, the President, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the CS of the National Treasury and CS Moses Kuria, Commissioner General, it is my pleasure, of course, our distinguished taxpayers who are being awarded today, my hearty congratulations to all the organizations and individuals who are being recognized here today. Your Excellency, this is indeed the 18th edition of a celebration of taxpayers, and I miss the words that President Mwai Kibaki used to use, that kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. Your Excellency, encouraging our taxpayers and citizens to know their responsibility when it comes to doing their part is extremely important, and I'm glad that your government, led by, of course, you and your gallant efforts, are changing the attitude towards taxpayers, that we do not squeeze the goose that lays the golden egg, but we encourage and we work together with businesses for them to be able to play their part. Your Excellency, KRA has been a chief collector of revenue for Nairobi County Government for the last 2 years, and I must say they have done a commendable job. Commissioner General and your team, I say asanteni sana. Your Excellency, growth is inevitable, and now we are moving from the KRA Nairobi revenue system, because they've helped us build our capacity, to our new platform that we shall launch soon called Nairobi Pay. Your Excellency, all payments to Nairobi County Government, and I'm glad these businessmen and women are here and the institutions that they represent, are going now to come through a digital system. In the last 64 days that we've been in office, we've managed to digitize each and every revenue stream of Nairobi County Government. There's no more cash payments. So in case you encounter somebody asking you for cash, just know you're paying that person, not me, and not Nairobi County Government. All of our payments are now going through *647# so that we can bring in all the revenue. In addition to collecting revenue, the KRA has also shown us, and we've been sitting, we've burnt the midnight oil with a great team that Commissioner Mburu has given me, led by Anastasia and Leonard Omondi, to be able to look at the weaknesses that had been there in the system of revenue administration, and we've developed and we've solved for those problems. Our planners and developers had a lot of problems on NPDMS uploading their business approvals, their building approvals. We've been able to sort that out. Titles before 2012 were not being registered. Professionals could not see every step of the process, and I'm glad that in less than 60 days we've been able to resolve that, and the feedback we're getting from the industry is very positive. Your Excellency, our county government has been collecting on-source revenue of 10 billion, which is way below our potential. Several studies, including by the Commission of Revenue Allocation, has said that we can collect up to 67 billion shillings once we bring it all in. I want to report to you that we have revised our targets, and working closely with our, with our young people and technology, we intend to double that in this financial year and to grow in the years to come. The numbers will be useful, Your Excellency, once we complete assessment of rental properties together with KRA and the RDSASA in the Ministry of Lands to bring in more from land rates. And I'm glad, Your Excellency, we've discussed and you've assured me, because some of those who also owe us money, the greatest institutions that owe us money are your institutions in the national government. I ask that from this financial year, each ministry can budget to pay us our land rates. We don't want to clamp your buildings, Professor Ndungu. Please start paying your rates, because we cannot tell Kenyans to pay their taxes and their rates, and government institutions are not paying the Nairobi County Government. We see a potential of up to 53 billion, Your Excellency, with the sectional properties law And of course, with the new valuation role that we've been able to get done, many of our institutions were paying values, or rather the rates were based on values we want to serve you. Your Excellency, apart from the rates, parking fees and other charges that we are owed, I'm glad that with the new attitude, a new being, Excellency. Your Excellency, finally, I want to underscore and reiterate that our attitude and our disposition as a county government is to position Nairobi as a global financial and economic hub. We are soon launching the Unified Single Business Permit so that our businessmen can focus on doing business and not on complying. That we make it easy, that there's predictability, there is no harassment. We don't want your companies having more than 10 licenses to pay, and every day there's a different inspector coming to look at you. Those are avenues for rent seeking. And I'm very happy that the Minister for Trade has also agreed to implore upon other government agencies for the statutory licenses to bring them all into one. Let our business people just be able to pay digitally on their phone and not have to go through around our offices trying to comply on paying of fire license. I don't know what's Professor Ndungu to make his remarks and invite the Deputy President. Asanteni sana.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, and Commander-in-Chief of Kenya's Defense Forces, Your Excellency, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the Chair and the Board and the Management of the Kenya Revenue Authority, distinguished taxpayers, and also including my colleagues, Moses Kuria from Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment, and my colleague Eliud Wara, ICT. I'm very happy that, ladies and gentlemen, all distinguished guests, I'm very happy that I'm here. I took over the National Treasury and Economic Planning this morning, Your Excellency, and we discussed. We had several things to say and to talk about until we found ourselves running against time to come here. So I have a speech that I'm going to read, which is actually going to reflect mostly the day-to-day, and more importantly, in terms of where we are forecasting to go. We really need the taxpayers themselves, but we also need the market we tax from. So, Your Excellency, I wish to express our sincere gratitude from the National Treasury and Economic Planning docket for accepting to preside over this important event in our annual calendar, a day when we recognize and honor distinguished patriotic taxpayers from their various sectors of our economy. Indeed, this day is a culmination of a month-long preparations and activities that give most of the taxpayers a platform to reflect in terms of their tax payments, and also for us to look at the state of health of KRA and taxpayers' relationships. For us, that is very, very important, Your Excellency. And we know that at the backdrop of it, Your Excellency, in the last 2 years, the world and even our country have faced a very, very difficult time of slightly over 2 years. There are unique economic circumstances. There are multiple shocks that have not only been quite negative, but also persistent. Persistent to the point where they drive us out of our priorities. But more importantly, these simultaneous shocks have actually affected the structure of macroeconomic environment and in fact distorted the relative price structure and created distortions. We do believe that we'll ride over these shocks, but more importantly, it is to understand these challenges and how to prioritize the remedial measures in terms of how we can get out of them. So the challenges notwithstanding, the country still needs to enhance domestic revenue so as to continue providing the needed services that citizens in this country require. In this regard, we have and we are continuing to initiate a comprehensive review of the tax policy landscape, where we seek to strengthen tax administration through the use of technology and taxpayers' engagement. I'm happy about that because, for me, I do believe that we need to move in the direction where we optimize the tax instruments and also optimize the revenue streams from each tax instrument so that we do not distort not only the market itself, but even the pattern of investments in the future. Kenya's theme of leaving no one behind, Your Excellency, projects the importance of shared nationhood and even pulling together as citizenry in determining the country's destiny, including matters of taxation, therefore calling support from all stakeholders. Your Excellency, the domestic revenue mobilization remains the cornerstone for successful implementation of Kenya's development agenda, and to further boost performance, we have initiated a number of reforms, including investment in technology geared towards automating tax services, making tax payments more convenient, and thus enhancing Kenya's investments and attractiveness in private investment. For that, I wish to mention that over the last 2 years, the legal team and the legal and administrative teams have taken some measures that are going to expand the tax base and even improve the tax compliance. And this is bearing fruit, and that is why today, when we talk to the taxpayers, we'll be celebrating that the KRA surpassed the 2 trillion mark, Kenya shillings 2 trillion mark. And for me, this is actually very encouraging. And as we continue with the reforms, I'm sure things will work out better for us. There are several reforms in the pipeline, but let me, Your Excellency, promise that we will look into all the revenue streams, all the tax revenue streams, and how we can optimize revenue and even optimize how the tax system is corrected so that it does not distort the domestic market and also does not distort the investment climate. So I'm very happy about that. So in our pursuit to strengthen and enhance the capacity of KRA, Your Excellency, we are going to mobilize additional revenues that are critical to the country's socio-economic development. And the National Treasury will continue to closely work with the KRA and other financial support that are required by the authority to safeguard the sustainability of their strategy. As I conclude, I wish to congratulate the taxpayers who are present here and whose day we are celebrating, and they are set to be awarded some prizes because of their steadfastness in supporting the KRA and the government. And we thank them immensely for their partnership to support, for the support they have provided, and without whom Kenya would not have realized the efficient development agenda and maybe even what we are focusing in the future. I would encourage them to keep the pace and press on with a noble mandate, but also to give KRA a response in terms of how best they can organize this tax system. Your Excellency, at this stage, because this is a day for the taxpayers, I wish to conclude my speech and allow me to welcome your Deputy, His Excellency Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, to make his remarks and thereafter invite you to address our distinguished guests. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, our distinguished taxpayers, good morning. Your Excellency, we are here once more to engage our serious partners in national development and turning around the economy of this country. We want to thank you, sir, since your historic swearing in, you have led by example to the rest of us who are privileged to assist you in the management of the affairs of this country, that entrepreneurship, investment, manufacturing, and general business is the way to go to turn around our economy for the benefit of our people. I want to confirm to the taxpayers here today and all entrepreneurs, investors, manufacturers, and all those engaged in one way or another in doing business in our beautiful country, that our President has given a policy direction to all of us who serve under him, that our work as public officials is to support and facilitate business. And that policy direction has trickled down that public officials have no business standing in the way of business, being a hindrance, creating roadblocks. Their work is to support and facilitate business. And shortly, in a few months, when we complete the process of public sector reforms in terms of telling our public officials of their new role in the Ruto administration, there will be no bureaucracy and red tape in matters business and investment. I agree with the governor of Nairobi that the national government too is not at all impressed where when you walk to an office, you cannot tell the original color of the wall because the whole wall is full of multiple licenses. Those licenses must give way to show people, for people to appreciate the original color of the wall by having a single permit. So all permits should be collapsed under one. Finally, Your Excellency, as you ask the people of Kenya to pay taxes, as you mobilize the people of Kenya to accept their responsibility to pay taxes, those of us under you will also help you to make sure that those charged with the responsibility of collecting revenue do not criminalize tax payment. The taxpayers are our partners, and we continue to urge KRA to collect tax with dignity by respecting the taxpayer, and where there are challenges, let us continuously engage the taxpayers. The taxpayers are good people, and where they have challenges, through a continuous engagement process, we can always find out why there are challenges, surmount the challenges, and make sure that we collect more revenue for our beautiful country. And I want to confirm once more, I was in a meeting this morning with the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and we are noting that the new administration is keeping time in all our meetings. I want to confirm that the President of the Republic of Kenya is leading by example. The problem with this the new President of the Republic of Kenya has given instructions to all of us that he will not allow any public official, starting with the Deputy President, going downwards, to keep the people of Kenya, investors, waiting for them even for 10 minutes because they have work to do. So we want to tell our CSs, our PSs, and no other officials downwards, you take the cue from the President. You keep time so that we allow Kenyans to go and do business and build their country. I don't want anybody to get in trouble with the new President. That's why I'm giving you this policy direction. Your Excellency, we want to say thank you very much. You have set the pace. I'm sure the new CSs are already acclimatizing to the way of doing things. The President yesterday told you that you'll have to work up to late hours and requested your spouses to be reasonable. but we don't want you also to take advantage to do other things. The president is a family man, and he believes in the family unit. So let not a few of you take advantage of his advice, and he's requesting your spouses to be understanding to get out of the way. It is for the purposes of just making sure in office to work for the people of Kenya. Your Excellency, our deputy, I'll monitor so that we make sure they're in office doing the right thing. With those few remarks, it's now my privilege to ask you to be upstanding. We welcome the President of the Republic, William Samoei Ruto. Please give him a heavy clap.
I appreciate the moment to share with our taxpayers, and especially those who are on the top of the list. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be part of this very important occasion, because this year's National Taxpayers' Day comes at a time of tremendous crisis as well as immense opportunity. It therefore calls for sober reflection, radical change, and resolute action to make our tax administration fairer, better, and aligned with the revenue policy of a nation in pursuit of self-reliance. As I stated earlier, the state of our public finances is unsatisfactory. Given this, how we proceed will determine whether we are facing a threat or an opportunity. Difficult decisions must be made to put matters in good shape. The false comfort of a financial bandage must come to an end, because we are risking short-term comfort in place of sustainability in the long term. We have already taken the direction of retiring expensive, unsustainable consumption subsidies in favor of investing in production, while cutting off the fat in the national budget to eliminate wasteful and irrational expenditure to produce savings which will finance urgent critical interventions. We continue to live way beyond our means, with an unsustainable proportion of our revenues going to servicing debt. Under these circumstances, critical government services cannot be provided adequately or at all, owing to budgetary constraints. Similarly, essential projects cannot be undertaken for the same reason of unavailability of adequate resources. The implementation of our government's plan for rapid and inclusive socio-economic transformation of our country depends on a robust revenue growth rate and a well-managed budget deficit. We do not have the luxury of gambling with our destiny by living beyond our means, and neither can we afford to fail in implementing the public finance management agenda that we have. I note the steady growth of revenue mobilized by the Kenya Revenue Authority since 2020, and I congratulate the Kenya Revenue Authority for these efforts. While this is encouraging, the active tax base remains far short of its potential. Maybe you clapped too early. At the same time, it indicates the willingness of taxpayers to meet their obligations under a fair, professional, and facilitative framework. The upshot in sum is that there is evidence of tremendous scope to expand our taxpayer numbers by engaging eligible and willing taxpayers. It is time to do the fair thing by supporting patriotic taxpayers who fulfill their obligations by reducing the number of free riders and enlisting more taxpayers to the national building project. A huge obstacle to the realization of our national revenue targets is that, in practice, tax administration has traditionally been a repressive, menacing affair which resembles extortion. This extinguishes taxpayer incentives and diminishes the prospects of an expanded tax base, pulling Kenya backwards from its national revenue potential and denying its citizens critical services and development programs. Tax revenue mobilization is a crucial dimension of state sovereignty. The ability to finance national budgets defines true national independence. Those taxpayers who continue to perform their duty of remitting due taxes advance this agenda, thereby engaging in exemplary performance of patriotic duty. A day like this is therefore most appropriate for appreciating and indeed honoring the contribution of those outstanding individuals and corporate citizens in safeguarding, upholding, and enhancing Kenya's sovereignty. I salute you, and on behalf of a grateful nation, I celebrate all of you. It is important to let you know that your commendable contribution to national self-reliance, sustainable development, and citizen well-being is noted with profound appreciation. To signify our appreciation of these distinguished taxpayers, we must move decisively and efficiently to increase the number of taxpayers of all categories and steadily push the tax base towards its full potential. We have no choice, given the facts of our national financial situation. Between evaders and KRA officials, to subvert revenue administration, a culture of raids, extortion, disruption of taxpayers' operations, and obstruction of business are some dimensions of a wrong culture, robbing our citizens of shared prosperity. I have discussed these issues with the management of the Kenya Revenue Authority. I have discussed these issues with the Commissioner General. I have brought to his attention many of the practices that go on at the moment. For example, we are selling 2.9 billion stamps for our excisable products, while our neighbor Tanzania is selling 7.2 billion stamps. Uganda is selling 9 billion stamps. Those two economies are smaller than ours. It means we should be selling between 10 billion and 12 billion stamps. But the trouble is, the government is selling 2.9 billion stamps. There are people who are selling the balance, which is approximately 7 billion stamps. And I have told the Commissioner General he must tell these people to stop. And we have no choice. Because I do not want to fight with people, but they must stop. I want to tell the good people in KRA, good people, you must stop. Because I have given enough information to Commissioner General to sort out that mess. And I have told him if he doesn't sort out the mess, I will sort it out myself. And we should be able to collect enough money. We are determined, and let me repeat, we are determined to effect decisive change in order to swiftly reverse this unsatisfactory state of affairs. The practice of citizen harassment as a means of tax administration is unacceptable. In the past, revenue collection registered dramatic growth. This was as a result of an effective national mobilization strategy which appealed to our fundamental values and identity and employed citizen education, engagement, and facilitation. Revenue then accounted for 18% of our GDP. In more recent times, the tax administration instruments have been weaponized to achieve objectives that are extraneous and inimical to enterprise continuity, investment sustainability, due process, and the rule of law. The consequences are painful to contemplate. Our GDP has risen to Kenya shillings 12 trillion, yet KRA only raised about 14% of GDP in revenues last year. In the past, KRA was able to raise 18% of GDP. If we collect the same target today, then we would have raised an extra 400 billion shillings. In that case, I expect KRA to raise at least 3 trillion by the end of the next financial year and to double the current collection in 5 years. Let me repeat, for the avoidance of doubt. I expect Kenya Revenue Authority to raise 3 trillion by the end of next financial year and to double the current collection in 5 years. I can see the Commissioner General recording. Let me repeat it again so that you get it right. As already indicated, we are committed to instituting comprehensive culture change at the Kenya Revenue Authority in order to make it much more supportive of taxpayers. To achieve this, it will be necessary to radically reform KRA and make it a people-friendly, customer-centric organization that facilitates taxpayer compliance as a core tax administration strategy. At the same time, it will be an explicit mandate of KRA to maximize tax collection while minimizing the compliance burden on the taxpayer. The time for extravagant rebranding exercises, diversionary and cosmetic changes is far behind us. It is now time for a radical shift in our KRA model, focusing on a robust service charter anchored on technology, which explicitly commits to transform customer relationships, simplify the taxpayer processes, and optimize existing facilities to provide efficient services. This shift must demonstrate strong commitment to the principle of impartial taxation, where the tax burden reflects ability to pay. KRA must therefore set out a strong and transparent integrity assurance mechanism embedded in an equally vigorous corruption prevention framework in order to create a stakeholder confidence in the transparency and accountability of its processes. The entire organization must evolve into a community united by transformed corporate culture based on shared values, including the principle of public finance. KRA must also reflect equity by shifting from the overtaxing of trade and undertaxing of wealth to enable the wealthy bear an appropriate burden. As I have said before, our operating philosophy in matters revenue mobilization is going to be hierarchical. This means that we shall tax wealth, consumption, income, and trade in that order. A safe, and by the way, I will lead from the front by paying my taxes. And every company associated with me will lead from the front in paying taxes. There will be no exemptions for whoever. There will be a fair tax regime where everybody is treated equally. The animal farm will not be part of the principle of paying tax. A safe, secure, and conducive environment is necessary for enterprise growth and maturity. Tax administration must consistently, in a coherent, impartial, and rational manner. Business requires simple and reliable tax systems and technologies. Our financial technology space has come of age, and talented Kenyans are now able to offer safe, secure, stable, effective solutions at very competitive rates. The National Treasury and KRA must continuously engage with stakeholders in order to collaboratively review tax policy and make it conducive to traders and micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises to enter the tax bracket. To this end, the current draft national tax policy should incorporate our new economic strategy and spending plans. The KRA must take positive steps to make the business environment favorable for Kenyan traders, and at the same time, it must seal revenue leakages, leverage trade facilitation technology to efficiently and effectively manage border points and to promote the efficiency of cross-border trade. Our plan aims at transforming the over 10 million Kenyans currently struggling to put a meal on the table into new taxpayers through interventions to rapidly increase incomes at the bottom of the pyramid. Our pledge to commit investments to the informal sector is intended to lift these millions from the bottom of the economic pyramid into active wealth creators, significantly broadening the tax base. A crucial pillar of this vision involves attracting high-quality investments in all sectors. Tax administration must not be a barrier to investor confidence or a factor of high cost of doing business. This dramatic economic uplift will be situated in the MSME sector, which traditionally employs close to 90% of new entrants to the labor force. Our government will empower this sector through financial instruments to provide affordable and accessible financing to MSMEs. And for its part, KRA must ensure that our tax administration is fit for purpose, with a tax structure that enables MSMEs contribute to national development, even as we make them viable enterprises. There exists tremendous potential for the KRA to play a significant role as the engine of national transformation. In order to rise to this full promise, it is time for KRA to finally catch up with the digital transformation that has swept through the country, positively transforming our social, economic, and political landscape. A professional, people-friendly, customer-centric KRA should leverage technology and lighten the tax-paying burden through universal tax registration. The imperative of embracing technology solutions to KRA strategic issues is clear. There are only 7 million people with KRA PIN numbers. At the same time, in the same economy, Safaricom's M-Pesa has 30 million registered customers transacting billions daily. The fact that this opportunity remains unclear to KRA demonstrates why radical changes are necessary. Every Kenyan with an ID should have a PIN number, just as simple as that. Technology and a considerate, fair, and professional mobilization will do the job quite well. Safaricom, a telco, has registered more people than KRA, a powerful state organization. It is very clear that the magic lies in technology and strategy, not in power and resources. Bwana Siji, umesikia hiyo story? I'm happy you're taking notes. The agenda I have set out to recalibrate and reorient our tax administration framework signifies our appreciation of the contribution of our taxpayers who continue to embrace their patriotic share of practical nation-building efforts. We must not deny any eligible Kenyan their opportunity to take part in the noble task of affirming freedom and entrenching our sovereignty. Universal tax registration is a historic endeavor to enlist all Kenyans in the patriotic effort of reinforcing our independence by enhancing self-reliance. We must pay attention to KRA because it plays an indispensable role in mobilizing the resources required to enhance the well-being of Kenyans and finance necessary measures for growing the national cake. How we do our tax administration can determine whether KRA is a fulcrum in a virtuous or a vicious cycle in our public finance management system. The measures I have set out, therefore, demonstrate our government's full appreciation of the KRA as a guarantor of national development. We are clear in our understanding that it must become even more effective in this mandate. I pledge my total support for KRA and KRA's role and evolution towards optimal tax administration for our historic transformation era. I also commit, as I have done, to champion the commitment that every Kenyan who has the potential to pay tax actually pays their fair share of taxes. We have had discussion that there are alternative mechanisms of getting things done. For example, you just had the governor of Nairobi to be able to collect the rates and rents. We didn't have a valuation court, rates valuation court, because the law had a problem. When I asked how we are going to sort it out, we were told that there is a law that is waiting to go to Parliament. Once it is passed, someday, then we can have the rates valuation court, which we haven't had for a couple of years. And what that has done is that there is a pileup of cases alone in Nairobi, about 6,000, blocking the opportunity for us to raise taxes. With just a little consultation with the governor of Nairobi and the Chief Justice, today the valuation rates court is being gazetted. Just to confirm to you, CG, that there are alternative ways of resolving issues. Yeah, there are alternative ways of resolving issues. Let me give you another example. We passed the law on contributions to our National Social Security Fund in 2014. It's been in court for 9 years. The potential for it to be in court for another 9 years is real. We decided to call COTU, Federation of Kenya Employers, and everybody. We had a front chat. And today, again, we are gazetting the new regulations for NSSF. So when I tell you there are alternative mechanisms of resolving issues, I can give you examples. So I encourage the KRA to work on alternative mechanisms of resolving whatever outstanding issues with taxpayers so that instead of being punitive, it becomes facilitative of our taxpayers to pay tax. It is the only way, CG and your team, that you will meet the targets I have given you. You have to think outside the box. I am determined to ensure that our tax system is responsive to the needs of the new era in Kenya tax administration. I commit to become your ambassador by leading Kenyans in paying taxes. I want to thank you very much and congratulations to all the outstanding men and women in this room who lead the way in paying taxes and keeping our country independent. Asanteni sana.
highest total amount of taxes in each of the 7 administrative regions. Truly, every hassle matters. The top MSME taxpayer North Rift Region Award goes to the Noble Sacco Society Limited. The top MSME taxpayer South Rift Region Award goes to Imarisha Sacco Society Limited. The top MSME taxpayer Western Region Award goes to Busia Sugar Industry Limited. The top MSME taxpayer Northern Region Award goes to Transnation Sacco Society Limited. The top MSME taxpayer Central Region Award goes to Amica Sacco Society Limited. The top MSME taxpayer Southern Region Award goes to Costco Shipping Lines, Kenya Limited. The top MSME taxpayer Nairobi Region Award goes to the Boston Consulting Group, Kenya Limited. Top exporter. This award recognizes the exporter who handled the highest value of exports and is compliant with customs laws and procedures. This award goes to Lab International Kenya Limited. Lab International Kenya Limited. The award will be received on their behalf by Madam Susan Wanjohi, Deputy Commissioner, Customs and Border Control. Top importer, non-petroleum. This award recognizes the importer of non-petroleum products who paid the highest import taxes and is compliant with customs laws and procedures. This award goes to Edible Oil Products Limited. Most improved taxpayer category. This award recognizes the taxpayer who registered the highest growth in total tax payment relative to last financial year. This award goes to Isuzu East Africa Limited. Top authorized economic operator importer. This award recognizes the taxpayer who is an authorized economic operator who had the highest import taxes paid and is in compliance with customs laws and procedures. This award goes to Sifao Motors Kenya Limited. The award will be received on their behalf by Mr. Joseph Kaguru, Deputy Commissioner, Customs and Border Control. Top importer, petroleum. This award recognizes the importer of petroleum products who paid the highest import taxes. This award goes to Vivo Kenya Limited. Top public sector category. This award is presented to a public entity that has demonstrated the highest levels of tax compliance through consistent filing and timely payment of taxes across all tax heads. The taxpayer paid the highest amount of taxes relative to other government agencies. This award goes to Teachers Service Commission. Taxpayer category, top taxpayer category. This award is dedicated to the taxpayers who are the leading payers of taxes in the country and have demonstrated the highest total amount of tax payment across all tax heads. The top medium taxpayer award goes to Twiga Foods Limited. The second runners-up top taxpayer category award goes to KCB Bank Kenya. The first runners-up top taxpayer category award goes to Kenya Breweries Limited. The top taxpayer award goes to Safaricom. Simple, transparent, for you.
And there we have it, Safaricom, the top taxpayer for the year 2022. Tuwapongeze kwa makofi. And thank you, Excellency. And just before Your Excellency leaves the stage, Kenya Revenue Authority would wish to present a present to Your Excellency, a gift as a memento for this great occasion today. And the Commissioner General will present together with the Minister, presenting a gift to His Excellency, the President. Let's place it up. There we have it, Your Excellency. That is a gift, is a painting of Your Excellency and Her Excellency the First Lady, done by a Kenyan artist, Sami Lutaya. Sami, just wave if you are around here. Sami Lutaya, Your Excellency, is the person who has done this painting. The cameras are requesting something. Thank you, the camera people. Thank you. Thank you. And after the national anthem, Your Excellency, I request we play it from here. We will request that after the national anthem, Your Excellency, we have a photo opportunity with all the awardees outside KICC. I am also advised the rest of us are welcome for lunch on this door. So as we go for the photo opportunity, the rest of us settle for lunch. We all stand for the national anthem. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Niombe Wadodis to